You're watching a Seedling series. I'm Corinne Green, the art director of Seedlings magazine, and I will be interviewing a series of artists, designers and thinkers whose work is featured in our magazine. Hope you enjoy. Halla is an Icelandic textile artist and knitwear designer whose work weaves memory, landscape and tradition into sculptural form. Her pieces range from horsehair jewellery to textile sculptures and wall hangings, and mostly she creates knitted garments that feel like walking sculptures in their own right. Her work reflects her environment and heritage in a tactile, transformative way. And this summer, Halla opens a solo exhibition at the Textile Museum in Iceland. Titled She Is I, The Knitting Experience, the year-long show unfolds as a timeline of her ever-evolving practice, a story of material, memory, connection and future-making told through fibre. And I've had the complete and utter privilege of being asked to help Halla curate her show, which is just such an incredible honour, and we're both super eager to see how it turns out. It's been a really interesting experience, and yeah, thank you so much for listening to this interview. We've just had a little conversation about how she's feeling, her past work and inspiration, and what she hopes for this exhibition. So, thank you for listening and enjoy. Thank you. Hello, darling.
Oh, hello, my love.
This is so strange and fun.
Right?
It's a new thing for both of us to be speaking like this in a professional manner.
To each other, especially.
To each other, especially, because usually we just chat a load of rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say another word, but I don't think we should swear on Instagram.
I don't think we should.
Or wherever this is going.
Keeping this professional.
Keeping this very professional, as we are professional women.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we start? Shall I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, let's just go ahead with this.
Let's go. Okay, so you've described knitting as something that's been with you since childhood. Do you remember about those first moments?
I think I remember my mom kind of wanting me to knit to slow me down, because I was quite all over the place as a kid, and I have a lot of energy, and I've always had a lot of energy, and it was something for her to kind of have me in the same place for a while, because then I could just focus on that. And yeah, I think it's kind of like the first project I remember that she made me do was these knitted mittens that I made for my dad for Christmas. I don't think they were gonna fit ever his hands, and
it's the thought that counts, huh?
Right. And I just remember, I don't know really what happened, but I remember because you always have to wash them and then set them before I let them dry. And I was so eager, and they hadn't dried, so I took them and I put them in the oven, and I started cooking them.
Oh no, God.
Because I was hoping that they would then be ready for him when he would wake up, which, to my surprise, did not work.
Oh, bless you.
But I've always been like this, solution-based.
Yeah, that is... that is so cool.
I just wish that they were somewhere. And I think, it was good for me to have something to do and to focus on like this.
Yeah, I think it's important for kids. And I suppose it's the bonding thing for you and your mom, because I've I've had the privilege of being at your parents' house, and the curtains in the front window that she's made, she should crochet them.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. They're lace almost, aren't they? Like these lace patterns, and they're so beautiful. Can you tell me in particular how this craft has helped mould your relationships with the women in your family?
I mean, this has mostly been a relationship between maybe my mom and me.
Yeah.
And I think she just taught me a lot of things through this craft.
Yeah.
Like how to learn to do something new. She taught me, how to fail miserably and still continue and to fix my own mistakes and she was quite a tough mom in the regards of like showing me how to do it once, twice, maybe 3 times, she would show me. And then she was like, you do it now.
No more.
Yes, like I've done it. And I think, it kind of created a relationship maybe where I could always find knowledge within her. And like when I was doing my own things, it's good to have this kind of some interaction that is not about necessarily family or like housework or like your typical things, but something where you might be teaching each other almost. Yeah, it's like when she would be creating a sweater, she would ask me about my opinion, and then we would have these like chats about these things, and nobody else could kind of partake in this. In these discussions, and they were so ours.
It's like a mutual respect, isn't it, as well? You wanted each other's opinion. Oh, that's so nice.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, my grandmas both knit, and but because they lived so far away, I didn't really necessarily have that kind of relationship with them. Even though like now my grandma will like ask me to like help her with things, and it's still there, I guess, a lot. Because both of them have been knitting since I was like forever, and given me sweaters and socks and mittens and like everything that I wear all the time, I guess.
That's so precious. Because you've worn a lot of things that I've been like, oh, where have you got that from? And you've been like, oh, my mum knitted me this, or oh, I'm just knitting my mother a jumper for her birthday, and it's so lovely. You can see, I think, especially in Iceland, you can see how it's like an important aspect of life in knitting, like the craft. Or maybe it's in your family, but I've seen like it feels that way anyway, being an outsider.
Yeah. I mean, I think what makes it so important to us is that like all of us learn it when we are kids.
Yeah.
So it's taught in elementary schools. You start learning textiles when we're like in 4th grade.
Wow.
And then you have to study it for at least, until 7th grade, I guess. And then you can choose if you want to and continue it, there is. And I think to teach kids how to use their hands like this, and to teach them how to create their own clothes and to be connected to this craft, it kind of makes us all kind of understand it, I guess, at some specific levels.
I learned that from you. Like, I remember getting really frustrated because, just a bit of background, we studied textile design with knitwear at London College of Fashion together. And one thing I remember you saying to me, I was getting really frustrated because I never really knitted before. I've done odd bits, made a scarf with my nan, but I was getting really angry at the machine, and you were just like, it takes time. Like, it requires so much patience, and it will work its way. Like, you will find your way. But you were it really sat with me, because I just remember feeling so infuriated, and I just remember you saying, it's okay, and it will take time. Like, you will learn how to be patient by knitting. And it changes your whole life after that, because you just realise that things don't just happen like this. With me?
No, definitely. Like, I still feel like I'm learning a lot from the craft itself. And it's always so surprising when that happens. And it's also so beautiful because, like, now my work is, for the first time, suddenly revolving around these small steps and not trying to make things as difficult for myself as I possibly can.
Because you do tend to do that.
Yeah. In our studies, I was really getting stuck there because I was maybe being impatient about the process of building the patterns themselves and kind of like taking it slow, I guess. And now I'm managing to like create these libraries of techniques that kind of start tiny, and then little by little they're getting more complicated and complicated. So it's like finally I'm managing to create patterns and structures that have like this ground to stand on.
Yeah.
So they are like strong.
I know you were playing piano when you were a child, and you said in other interviews that your background in music shaped the structure of your textiles. How does it structure your textiles? I'm curious.
Um, so how to, when I played piano, I was quite wild as well. It was hard to make me play certain things. I had to like do it kind of my own way, like do it like, what do you say, like dance to your own rhythm kind of thing.
Sure.
Like they would put on the ticker, like,
Yeah.
you know, I just had to like little, you know.
You were doing jazz solos.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to have fun with it. And I never wanted to like be the serious, like, you know, serious pianist. I just wanted to have fun. I did not want to learn like all of the, what is it called? Tonfrei, like the ground rules for things and why they're like this. And yeah, and I found myself really enjoying jazz.
Yeah.
And, you know, not having it too complicated, but like really make it as complicated as I could. Of course.
You have a common theme coming here.
Yes. It's because I'm so excited all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was good for me because I was so traditional with my knitting when I started uni, because that was kind of my background with knit. And so I was so stuck with the rules of everything.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of like you would with traditional music as well, or classical music, I mean. And the rules there, and like everything has to tick and like be perfect and on schedule, on time, and rhythmic stuff. Anyways, I don't know how to speak about this anymore.
No, but you that's what you did though. When you came in, you were very like, this is how you knit, like this is how it works. And you were very, I think, obviously being with your mom and her teaching you how it's meant to be. And then you came, I think it really shocked you on the other side, because you were like, all these people, these bitches coming in here, not knowing how to knit. And I think we connected because I didn't know anything. And I think you appreciated that I came in from a side where I approached it in a different way, because I didn't know the ground rules, like you playing jazz. Yeah. I didn't know the ground rules, and I was just there to have a bit of fun and make some things I liked. And you were like, well, this isn't how you do it. But then I think you kind of used me and other people as a mirror, because you were like, oh, I can just have fun and experiment too.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need to be that... It doesn't need to be that serious. Like, let's just have fun. And then you went nuts. Yeah. It was so good for me. Like, I remember what I remember most of what you did were the elf socks. The first year. I was like, what the fuck is this? This doesn't even fit anybody. Like, no.
You were, it's for elves. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You can't just say that they're for elves because they don't fit. It's like, what the fuck? Is that even allowed? Like, who allowed this? So funny. I think, it was great. It was really good for me. And I remember, like, because I was drawing then a lot and creating these images and like taking inspiration. And I remember like one of our tutors, Carolyn, telling me like, Halla, if you just really manage to translate your images to your knitting, then you will get somewhere. Like, because I was maybe doing all of these drawings and then I would just go and make a cable.
Yeah, there was a disconnect.
Yes, yeah. It was kind of like trying to make knit from, that kind of knowledge of knit point of view, instead of trying to push it maybe further and into something that was unexpected. And I think I was just really scared. And I think a lot of like people that are coming from really academic background and have kind of, their life has been structured about doing the right thing and taking the right box and like trying to appeal kind of to people. It can be hard to go back and break that wall and being like, just explore and find new things. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It was really difficult to break that wall because I was so uptight,
In a lovely way. You helped everyone because no one knew what they were doing, and you were just like, this is how you cast on. I remember you just showing me how the ribber attachment sits on, and I was like, whoa, this is nuts. Like, this is brand new information.
Yeah. Yeah.
You seemed so cool and like you knew what was going on, and you knew so much, and we were all coming into it like, God, what are we doing? And you were like, oh, it's just this. Or...
Yeah, I mean, I knew knitting.
Yeah.
But I knew...
Helpful at a knitwear course.
Yes, yeah. But I knew nothing about design or like drawing or like developing ideas or anything. So that was kind of, I guess, what I got a lot from there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Because you came from a psychology background.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, fascinating.
So I did, what did I do? I did, sociology in my junior college thing. And then when I started university, I did like a year in psychology. So it wasn't a long time because I got I failed one class and then I would have to retake the whole thing again. But I also failed with like 4.9 and I needed a 5. Oh. And I was like, maybe this is destiny,
Damn.
Life is telling me something.
Yeah.
But I was also always very interested in psychology and like how people think, and like most people are quite interested in this type of things. I guess psychology is like one of the most popular things to actually attend when you don't know.
Sure, humans are fascinating, and I think you've always had that element of kind of like there is always more underneath what you make. Like everything has a story and everything has a meaning, and all small details have such an importance. So I think that's very much a part of your work. Still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And part of your story. So I think it's really important. You've lived across Iceland, Paris, London. She's now studying her master's in Sweden. And I just wanted to know how those different environments influenced your creative language. We've already talked about London, but I mean, in general, I suppose, as well, living there.
Yeah. I think it has been very healthy for me to move and experience different places. And I think just like starting to move up north, I did that when I moved alone there when I was 16 to a boarding school. And I think that was very healthy for me. Mm-hmm. I do have a lot of family up there, so it was still quite safe. And like I had my grandmas and like my family, so I had things going on and people that loved me and things, which was very nice. But I think that time really helped me to just get out of my comfort zone and to explore different things, because I was like, I couldn't believe kind of, how can I say this? Like, I just, wanted to experience something different and something else, and where I could also be maybe more anonymous, I guess, where people don't know me. And I really like that, I guess, because then you have this room to kind of be kind of checking things and like be curious without any judgment of like who you are, I guess. Because, I mean, when you grow up in Iceland, most people, we're all kind of in the knowing of each other, I guess.
Small town kind of vibes, even though it's not a town, but small community situation. Everyone knows everyone's business, and if you don't know anyone, then you can experiment, I suppose, more in yourself. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I think, then when I moved to Paris, that was I don't know exactly. That was also just me putting myself into a difficult situation, I guess, and trying to survive.
Yeah. Desperately trying to survive.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at one point when I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I was like working I was washing dishes, being a runner. Nobody spoke French with me. I didn't speak French,
Oh.
They didn't speak English, so that was hard.
You're like, I'm just trying to learn here.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's still kind of, I think the most valuable lesson I got from Paris was that you always have the power to change your own life.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think, because I was like the first 3 months, I was just miserable. Like, I'm still trying to make things work and still kind of like, And then I was like, I need to go home. Like, I can't do this anymore. And then I met this person who was like, what's the problem? Like, just change things. Like, if this is wrong, just do something else.
Yeah.
If you don't like living there, move. Like, if you need friends, go.
Make some.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? If you don't like your job, quit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, yes, that's possible. Because kind of when you've been set always in these roots your whole life, you're kind of like, here I am.
So hard.
And nobody else was going to do it for me. And I think, and then I moved, I got a new job, made friends, and it was the most brilliant time the rest of the rest of the year, I guess. Yeah, it was great. And I think, then I moved to Iceland, and I mean, London was just like a fucking huge thing. I met all of you guys, beautiful people, and then COVID happened.
Yeah,
again.
Sad.
Yeah, I think, London has a great impact on me, just like all of the people and starting to work on my creative stuff. It's like,
I think you found your style as well. Because you came and you're always stylish, but I think I don't think London gave it to you. I think you found your own. I think you kind of almost realised how much you love where you came from in London. So I think London's a great place for celebrating a lot of different people from a lot of different places. And I think you coming from Iceland, you brought that with you, even if you didn't mean to. You brought that heritage with you, and I think it set you apart, and so then your work seemed to draw back to your homeland. But then also I think in your style you were like, I think you went home for a couple of weeks and then you came back and you went, I found this out of my wardrobe and I love this, and it was like a leather jacket that maybe it was your mother's or something, this leather jacket, and then this, but it was like it just had this real authenticity of home or whatever. And then all these knit pieces, and you just had this way of like styling them together. And I think, I think you really found your like vibe, and like got yourself out of the box you were in, maybe. Yeah, definitely. I remember it took a while, and like that first year, I was like I do not look like a fashion person. So then you went back. So after London, then you went back to Iceland. Yeah. For a bit of time. For 3 years. For 3. Yeah. Oh my gosh, was it that long? Yeah. Gosh, it doesn't feel like that long. It's been 4 years since we graduated. Whoa. Yeah. Disgusting. Oh. What? Why do you have to remind me? It was last year. Like, what are you saying? I know. It's insane. And then you moved to Sweden. Yeah, last year again. And this Sweden has been great. It's very different from London. Yeah. Very different vibes. Way more chill. Way more kind of what do you say? Like research based. Okay. More like having a reason for things. Sure. Kind of. Yeah, like and clean design maybe. Whilst I think London is so mad. Oh, I love it. There's a different water there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different. But it's also, it's just a very different way of designing. And I guess like now I'm more in a textile design environment.
Yeah.
And that was fashion,
Yeah,
fashion.
that's true. Yeah.
And that was like a whole thing. And that is a different kind of way you approach the design itself.
Yeah, yeah, because it's more about the material, isn't it? More so. Not that it wasn't, but I get what you're saying. Are you holding a crochet hook?
Yes.
No, you can continue. I was like, that's so on brand.
I can't when there are things. I'm so.
I've got a pen. I'm the same.
Yeah. I always have to be doing something with my hands.
Constantly doing something.
Yeah.
Okay, so your work blends traditional techniques with innovation. Can you tell me about your hand knitting in contrast with your knitwear digital knitting and how they lend themselves to one another?
So I like to think of everything in the terms of tools and what that tool can give me. And so there are a lot of things that I maybe want to do, and then I have to choose the right tool to execute that idea.
Yeah.
And I think, I often go back to my hand knitting, though I really don't do that as much anymore, especially not with complicated cable work or something with needles number 2.5 or 3, which I loved doing when I was a kid, but it ruined my hands. And I guess I try now to be careful about what I choose to do because of what makes sense, real.
Not a challenge for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I think for me, my craft has developed into certain specific expressions and stitches and patterns that are kind of involved with it.
Yeah.
And I really still love traditional patterns, and I love my Japanese knitting stitch Bible. Buy it if you don't have it. No.
Are you being sponsored?
I wish. But these books are knitting has so many beautiful traditional things that I don't think we should exclude because they are traditional, but find ways to put them into these new forms and new ways of being. And I guess it's my hand knitting always, it has programmed my brain to think about what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess, and how things can come together. And I love trying to put that onto the machines as well. Yeah, they kind of all start to combine. And I think it doesn't necessarily matter for me what machine I'm using. I think the expression is still mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall. And I can still not lose my voice to the tool. And I think that is important.
Yeah.
But I think when you bring this knowledge or hand knitting onto the machines, you can express yourself very differently from in comparison to people who just learn the machine without the craft behind it.
The foundation, having the foundations in which then you can build upon.
Yeah.
You can tell that with your work that it's very, I think you've got your own voice within your work now, and you can see that you have those traditional techniques because you see all those the lace work you do and when I think of your work I always think of the lace holes that look like little feet in the snow. And so you use traditional techniques, but in a way that you use a lot of organic shapes, which is so lovely, and so you're using them in your own way, and there's so much to explore with that.
endless. Like I
Yeah.
get so excited about what to do next.
And the
All the-
layering you've started doing with all the hanging pieces.
Oh yes, I mean, yeah, there's a lot
So,
more to explore there.
so because you did the knitwear stuff with, you worked as a technician, didn't you? Somewhere, what was it called?
No, so the Icelandic Textile Center,
Yes.
they got a knitwear machine,
Uh-huh.
and they just asked me to come and help them set it up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because they
So I
were, don't no clue.
Yes, can you come and just help us set it up? So I went and I helped them set it up, and then studied like their program and showed them how to use it, and then I got to use it again then for a week. So I haven't really it wasn't this big thing, you know.
No,
it
but
was
you were the only woman in the village that knew how to do it. Go Halla.
woman in the village.
So you need to give yourself more credit. I think that's pretty cool.
Yes. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I'm just cheap.
Cheap labour, or you actually were needed.
Yeah, like maybe I was the cheapest option. Because
Did you actually know how to do any of it before you went in there? I know we learned a little bit.
I mean, we learned almost nothing.
But
let's
that's
be real.
great. Like, we went straight into COVID. We didn't really learn a lot on them.
No.
Like, I think you were very brave to go and be like, I can try and sort this for you.
I mean, I feel like knitting machines, they're pretty basic in the way of I don't know, they just make sense to me in a way where I'm like, of course
I know how to do this, stupid woman.
Of course this works like this. Like, of course this, it doesn't feel like there are a lot of surprises with the knitting machine for me.
Yes.
I guess.
Well, I find it very impressive. I'm going to move on to talk about your horsehair and how you first started to experiment with it, and how the process came about, because you're making these beautiful jewellery pieces, and you made me one for the exhibition. I'm very excited.
Yes. Me too.
You got some in right now, too.
Oh, yes.
They're
Do
beautiful.
you want to see them?
Yes, please.
Oh,
They're so lovely. They're so lovely.
thank you. Oh, my horsehair.
Yes.
I'm actually making a new thing.
This is a bigger version of your apple bag.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, just fun.
So cute.
Okay.
Very cute.
So,
That'd make a great vase if it wasn't leaky.
right?
A vase cover.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
lovely.
I mean, it's not ready. You'll see.
Yeah.
It's not ready.
It's so
Nothing is ready.
There's time.
So, my horsehair kind of, how was it? So, for our final major project,
Yeah.
that was, I think, the project for me, and when I really realized how, or who I am, or something. It's when I finally stopped trying so hard to make complex things and just, did the simple things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, wait a minute, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And I went home for Christmas, and this was during COVID, and then London got locked down again. So I was like, shit, maybe it's just best to stay for a while until it opens up again and just, work from home. But obviously when I went on my Christmas break, I did not bring anything with me. So I didn't have any, I just, I was at my parents' house, and
You were limited resources.
Yeah, and then it kind of came into the idea of being stuck in an island, and what then is there, what can I use if I don't buy anything? And I think that was great for me because it set really strict limitations, and I really had to just make do. And because I couldn't choose things, I couldn't overthink it too much either. Yeah. So it wasn't it was kind of made me realize how good it is to have limitation, because it made me kind of think about my materials as a collaborator rather than something that I'm choosing, you know. And I went to this exhibition. It was so random. It was like this exhibition in Reykjavik, in the Icelandic, in the Reykjavik Museum. Well, I love putting Icelandic
in front of everything. She's so proud.
Everything is in Iceland is called Icelandic something. Anyways, sorry. Yeah. So my uncle took me and he was like, Halla, have you seen this exhibition? And I was like, no, I haven't. And he's like, what? It's closing tomorrow. Or like they're taking it down. Like this was the last day or something. And he knew the woman who was the head of that museum. And so he just called her at our family dinner. And he was like, Ken Halla has to come to see that exhibition, like, before you take it down. So they allowed me to be there at like 7:30 or 8 in the morning. And I was like, okay, great. But it was great because I went there in the morning and I got to walk through the exhibition alone. And it was honoring a woman called Ásgerður Búadóttir, who is a weaving artist in Iceland and was like one of the first Icelandic women to be recognized for her weaving art as artwork. And she was weaving a lot of horsehair into her pieces, and because this was in her honor, artists that were doing something similar, or weavers, or were working with horsehair, were invited to participate in the exhibition. And there I saw quite a lot of horsehair pieces or artwork, which I was like, okay, this is very interesting, because it seemed like people like it seemed like the horsehair was quite limiting in a way, but they were still managing to make very different things from it. But I knew most of them had a weaving background, which is very different from having a knitting background.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, what would happen if I, with my knowledge, would take it and see what happened? And that's when I was like, yeah, decided to do that. I remember calling the slaughterhouse, you know.
Yes.
They even have a guy who takes them and like is ready to give them out. You have to pay for them though, but just it. That was really interesting. Because he was like in this house, you know, with all of these skins and things, and then you go and you choose your horsehair and it smells disgusting, and then I had the tails and they were all gross and like bloody, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And I was like at home, and I remember, you know, what I've also learned a lot from my practice is that no one is going to do anything for you.
No, yeah.
You just gotta fucking do it. No matter how long you wait, you know, nothing is going to change the fact that you have to do it.
Yeah. That's so true.
I remember like I made 2 of them wait so long that they got ruined. And things like this, because I was like, I don't know what to do. You know. Until I just washed them, and then it was like a whole process of understanding how this thing worked, and like how much you had to clean it, and how much like would you clean it, and then what, like all of these things, and all had to happen outside in February in Iceland.
Cold.
It was very, very interesting. And then I had all of these hairs, right? And I was like, fucking A, like, what the hell am I going to do with this? And I just remember, because I told, like, our tutors that I had this hair. And they got so excited about it.
Yeah.
That there was no turning back for me. And I think I kind of did almost nothing for, like, 2 months with it. Except I remember drawing a lot of circles in my book.
Yeah.
And Carolyn was like, or can I drop names?
Yeah.
And she was like, Halla, this is such a waste of time to look at all of your circles.
Classic.
And I was like, I don't know what to do.
I've got nothing with me. I'm in the middle of Iceland. It's a lockdown. Help. I remember you telling me about it and I was like, what? I thought you'd got them in it, because I think they used to sell them in the hand. Remember hand weavers? Is it called hand weavers?
Yeah.
The kind of textile place we'd get yarn from. But it was mainly a weaving place, wasn't it? So you could pick up a few like interesting bits. So I remember picking up quite a few things thinking, oh my God, this is so beautiful. But with knitting, like you said, it's like, it's not traditionally used. So you could actually make some quite an interesting things. But then obviously, because we were fashion, it needs to be wearable, mostly. Loose term, but it needs to be semi-wearable. And so it matters what it feels like. But I saw the horsehair. I think I used it for weaving in one piece. But then, so I thought you just like bought it in a bag or something. So when you showed us the pictures of you like, and then when I saw things on your story and stuff of you literally, like the whole process, I think that's what's fascinating. Because you could have just picked it up from a place, but actually the whole process and then you making them into the things makes it yours, and it made it special.
And I think the thing about, like, I'm still using it 4 years.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I feel like I just want to continue exploring like its potential. And I think what is so great about it is how natural it is and how kind of demanding it is as well. Because like I have like this system of, I have to have a, bowl with water where I and then I have to pick up specific hairs, and that's how I can do like this specific color work as well.
Yeah, it's
just
beautiful.
By picking the hairs, but I can't have control completely because they change on the way. And then I need to wet my hands and wet the hair so everything doesn't like just hurt too much.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah,
but that's
and
partially lovely about it because it's so structured then.
Yeah. And it's just a fascinating fabric, I guess, or like material.
So how you I know you were putting it in samples, but how did you get to the jewellery part? Were you thinking, I need something to go with my graduate collection, I need to add something, or how did that come about?
It was just development process. And I remember because I was like, how do I do this? And I crocheted it. That made sense. It was really hard to knit with because it's more annoying, I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't really put it on the machine. Tried that though, but I had to like then hand do everything. And it was like, then I started mixing it with wire and used the wire to kind of shape it and make it stick in specific forms. And I think when I introduced the wire with the horsehair, that was when, that started to evolve into these jewelry pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it takes time, and I wanted them to be like, I was trying to kind of find some sort of voice by not forcing it too much, because I had then learned, the power of simplicity and like not overcomplicate things. And so it started small and then it grew. And I guess, one of the first pieces I made was though the necklace, which is, kind of just showing the hair itself. And I was very intrigued by trying to show the hair and not force it necessarily
into something other than it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Like not lose its own essence, because then why am I using horsehair? Like, why wouldn't I then just use something that is easier
meant
to
for
work?
That. You can see its hair, and I think because of the coarseness, you can tell what it is, and it's so magical, almost like endearing. Oh, I just love them.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's they are just so interesting as well, because you obviously can't decide all your colors, and then I sometimes find specific hairs that I'm like, oh my God, I'll never find this again. And I only make like 2 pairs of earrings from just this specific hair. Or like, it's the whole thing. I'd love to spend more time on it, and I could just have my practice about this, but I mean, I like it as a side.
Yeah,
side
you miss your other stuff too much.
Yeah.
Do you approach each piece with the story already in mind, or does the narrative unfold through the making? I think we've talked on this, but yes, in general, I suppose?
I think it really depends on the piece, I guess. Sometimes I know what I want to make, you know. Sometimes I'm like, I want to make a sweater. Because I like to stay not too far away from something we know. Like, I don't do crazy silhouettes or like things like this, but so then I kind of know, like, I want to make a dress, you know. And then sometimes I think about a piece like the big poncho.
Yeah.
That was kind of like growing in my head for like a year before I managed to do it. Because I felt like I had to have a reason to do it as well, because I knew it was going to take so much time. So it's kind of like, when is the opportunity to make something that will take you a month to make? And can you allow yourself this time to make it? Especially when you're like a freelancer, basically, and just kind of,
can I afford to take this time to make it?
Yeah. I remember when I made that piece, that was for an exhibition that was supposed to be in New York, which got cancelled, by the way, so it didn't happen. But
losers!
Yeah,
you missed out!
Exactly. I mean, that would have been fabulous. But
yeah, it would have been their loss. Next time.
I will be there soon, New York.
Yeah, she's coming. Because you're that poncho. Yeah. You say you don't make, extravagant silhouettes, but that, I think, is so. It's extravagant in what you've in the textiles, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, to the point where you're putting it, you're hanging it, and it's becoming now. You were saying it was like now becoming like more of a art piece, more of a wall hanging kind of situation. Because you hang it up there, and you're like, whoa, it's amazing. It's nuts, really.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the amount of time that you spent, and like all the elements and all the technique. It's like more than a piece of clothing. Like, you want to, when you take it off, you want to put it on the wall.
Yeah. Yes, and that piece took forever, but it was beautiful. But I think, like, I did not know my name when I finished that one. You know, it was so hard. Yes, because like doing that, I think I even did it in like 20 days or something. And I was just constantly doing it. And I remember, like, before I had to, like, send it off, because I still sent it to New York. I took an all-nighter, and I never take all-nighters.
You love your sleep.
Yes. And I remember I just had to finish, and then I just laid it down. And I remember when I took it up and put it on the morning after, I started crying, because I was like, finally.
My child is born.
And it's not shit. Thank God. Because, like, you don't know, you know?
Yeah,
you don't know that your things will work out until you put it on. Because, like, knitting is kind of everywhere. And nothing really... It's different. It's not material that stays the same.
No, it's not.
Alive.
Yeah.
And you're always like, please work.
When we learned... Like, I remember learning blocking. I think you were showing me you were doing it, and I was like, oh, I can't be bothered. And you were pinning everything meticulously. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to do this now. Like, she's showing everyone up. And I remember you taking the piece off, and I saw it for the first time. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should start doing that. Because it does make it's such a difference. Because it's natural, isn't it? The majority of the fibre we're using is natural. So of course it's going to make a bloody difference if you steam it in the right position. Yeah.
And then, like, a lot of yarns have wax in them, and like some yarns loosen up, some yarns kind of tighten more, and it's like how they interact with water, and
it's so like, nuts. Some shrink, and you're like, fuck.
Yes. I made a sweater the other day. I was like, I'm just gonna make a linen sweater.
Because you have loads of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have loads of time at the minute. You've got just so little going on.
Yes. So I was like, I'm just gonna make myself a sweater. It's getting hot. I need something linen-y. So I just took one of my old like mohair patterns. Like I don't know what I was thinking, and I and I knitted it on the machine, and I swear to God, it's like this big. It's tiny.
Give it to your niece or nephew, I suppose.
Like after I washed it, linen, like.
Yeah. Heartbreaking! No.
So I took the Monday and I did it again, and it fits.
Good, great. I'm glad.
I had to do it,
Yeah, it's not like you at all to make any mistakes.
Oh my God, I make so many mistakes all the time. I make constantly. It's all about making mistakes, That's how you...
And fixing them.
Yeah. That's how you actually get somewhere good.
That's how you... Oh, talking about materials, next question is, where do your materials come from and how important is the origin and texture of your process?
So I guess like now I'm working a lot with the material at uni.
Yeah.
But let's forget that yarn, because I guess I'm not really choosing that except from... Yeah. So it's very important to me to have natural materials. And to, like, I don't know, I just feel like I don't need to learn how to use the synthetics. I've never found any attraction to it. I find it kind of gross in a way. Working with it, and I think from working with my hands so much when I was younger, I just wanted to have something that felt nice, nice to touch. And my mom always taught me that, like, why waste time knitting something with synthetics?
It's true.
Yeah. And I know not everyone is happy to hear stuff like this, but...
No, but it's so true. You feel that you do... And that's a huge part about knitting, isn't it? It's just so huge. And I didn't realise that when we started our course, but how much of a difference it makes and how it feels on the body and how it wears and how long it lasts and like everything. It's everything. Yeah,
it really is. And it's just like, because knitting in itself is an expensive craft.
Yeah.
Because of the time it takes, then you should spend money on the fabric you're using or the material you're using because of the amount of effort you're going to put into it. And I guess, like, I like the idea that my things break down and can fade away. I think there's a lot of beauty in things destroying or in the or like in the breaking down. And I don't believe that things should last forever. I find that kind of very selfish almost to make things that last forever, because, like, who are you to decide what should be here in 200 years?
Exactly. Well, there's a lovely... It's a timeline, isn't it? It's like the time... A jumper will last someone their life, but not necessarily... Yeah. You can get... Things get passed down, but... But
then you have to take care of them as well.
Yeah, equally, yeah.
So they don't break down.
So they don't break down.
Yeah. If you have natural...
lovely jumpers with the elbows missing, and you just see how people have worn them. I love that about knitwear.
Yes, and that's how you can keep the garment alive a lot. But also, like, then if you just bury it, it's fine, because it's going to disappear anyways. And it's like, I think that is very beautiful. Like, as long as somebody is willing to love something, it can live with them. But if it has lost its way, it can become part of something else again.
It's energy, babes.
Yeah, I try to be very specific about using natural materials. I don't care about those synthetics. Sometimes I think I'm being stubborn, and I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be this stubborn. But then I'm like, well, somebody has to, anyways.
Oh, of course, and to be sustainable in this environment now, in this time, I think you have to be conscious about what you're using, and I think that was really plummeted into us at LCF about sustainability and I think you have to be conscious. And I remember you coming, I think you came back from Iceland after Christmas maybe, and you were like, I bought nearly my whole suitcase is full of yarn from Iceland. So.
Yes. Yeah, because so my mom is like collects a lot of yarn.
Yeah.
And then I got a lot of yarn from just within the community, like people giving me things, and that was very precious because my mom is a textile teacher as well. So I could kind of, choose, and I could kind of pick what I wanted because I am still very specific, I guess. And then she could take the rest and like let the kids work with it. So that was kind of a good collaboration between me and my mom,
Very nice. You need the contacts.
Yes.
You got...
So I am picky, I guess, on my yarns and my colors and things. And I don't know until I see it, and it's always kind of just this intuitive thing, I guess. But I like to have like different kinds of roughnesses, and I like Icelandic wool. I love Icelandic wool and using it in contrast to some super soft wool, and like how that roughness kind of can interact with the softness and
Oh, you're
texture.
Brilliant at that. You are so brilliant at that because you do. I've always appreciated that about your work because there's always especially I think you can really see it with your, like you were saying, with the sculptural pieces, more so because especially layering, what I'm thinking of, that there's that really light layer and it's almost looks like mohair, and it's lace and so thin and delicate and feminine, and then you have these kind of more structured, almost kind of not that they're felted, but it almost feels felted, and so there's this hard and the soft and the scratchy and and with your horsehair, like that's so textured, and all the hand bits you do, it's like it's like a lovely plate of food, all the different different mouthfeels with the hands.
Definitely. And I think that is something that maybe surprised me the most, I guess, or like I didn't realize I was doing it so much until after I started doing it. Was like this mixture of like using the machine and then taking it off and crochet around it and then adding this and embroider into it and kind of like playing around with it in this kind of very multimedia type of way, which is so fun. Like that is like opens up so many different expressions and like playful things, I guess.
Completely changes the form of it, doesn't it? It's like I love that. It's the pairing as well. I think it takes a particular eye to pair those things correctly.
Yeah,
I think you do it very well.
Thank you.
Okay, so your pieces are often tied to the Icelandic landscape. Do you think of them as a physical expression of the land, or something more internal and emotional? I feel like I know the answer to that. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. I think it definitely, they are very much mixed together, I guess, but it's kind of my expression of how I see the nature as being alive. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm trying to give it a face, but it's always about the emotion that I'm having with nature, which brings this out. Yeah. So it's like in its core, it's emotions, I guess. And then I'm using the nature to help me put it into
a physical form, almost.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a snapshot, I feel.
Yeah.
That you're doing. Like, because you feel that essence when you look at your pieces, you feel this nature essence. And then you can't help feeling the emotion from it too. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Of that particular space or time or...
Yeah, and it's really nice because, like, I have used those pieces to just help me kind of figure out what I am feeling and what that feeling looks like. And when I managed to kind of work with myself in this type of way, obviously a very different type of shape emerges, because like, how do you create a shape from a feeling? It's like, I love thinking about like where are you getting your inspiration and how are you creating it? And like, sometimes you can really just try to pull it out of yourself as well as seeing something with somebody. Yeah. But that also makes maybe my work more into the art rather than design, I guess.
Sure. That's true.
Because there you have some kind of like, these layers of what means what, and like
the explanation that comes with the work. Because I think when it comes to art, there's always there's always expected to be the art and then the description of the art next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be a disservice if you didn't explain what you did to yourself and to your work, because I feel like you can appreciate it for what it is, but I think adding the description when you've talked about it, it brings this whole other element of your personality and what you've wanted to achieve from it, and so it's like another layer. 4D.
Oh my god, I have never really had anything written about my pieces, I guess, with them or next to them. Like, nobody has ever been able to read about them.
Well, on Instagram, I mean, even.
Yeah.
You'll explain things on you're on your website. I suppose I've been looking quite a lot on your website. And I think this whole process of you bringing your pieces into this gallery, I think I'm probably just more conscious about the fact that that's now also gonna happen there too. Mm-hmm. And how nice it's gonna be for you to explain yourself almost, like, and what these pieces mean, even if it's like a short form, 2 sentences or whatever. But I think it's important. Even your names, like the names you call the things, like, that's descriptionary, you know? It's all...
Oh, that's true. That I think I try to name my things very much on the experience that I want the viewer to have, I guess. Like, to have some sort of like a lift up in the direction of where I'm going.
Where you're heading. Whether...
Yeah.
See, you're doing things you don't even know you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
This is interesting. Okay, we've just discussed this briefly, but what role does the idea of heritage or generational memory play in your practice?
I think it's like this overall kind of... It's just always surrounding me, I guess, in the way of like, I don't feel that much, like, I don't feel much ownership over my pieces, because I know this is something that has been taught to me, right?
Yeah.
And it's sometimes because there are stories about the women in my family and where we come from, which is a very harsh place in the north. A lot of, my family used to be very poor. It was hard, to survive, and like grandma telling me about like the winter they only ate potatoes and drank milk for like 4 years. So a lot of these, stories that are so close to us. It's just like our grandmas. Yeah. And, when I hear the story about my grandma's sister who was like, lived on this farm, she had her sheeps and she would, go outside and pick all of the wool off of the fences, and then she took it home and colored them with all of the flowers from her field, and managed to get like really interesting colors like purple and blue. And I'm like, how do you even do this? And then she knitted these tiny little socks for me, like, and gave it to me for my birth gift. She unfortunately passed. That's the year later. So I don't remember her at all, but this is something that still lives with me. And this is like my grandma's twin, who I am named after, which kind of gives me some kind of a connection to her. And I think it's like also with like, my grandma knitted me this beautiful cable sweater when I was like probably 12, and it still fits.
Whoa, okay.
It's quite tight, but it fits.
That's very grandma, like, let's make this last.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a constant hug from her. And it's like, it's so beautiful that people are like taking time and spending it to make something for somebody else is really precious. And I think we take it way too much for granted that our grandmas knit us stuff, because like, I mean, they are thinking about us when they are doing this. And I think just even like making things for someone you love, thinking about them during the whole process in this beautiful way is some good energy that you're putting into the world towards this person. Or like, it's almost like a prayer, you know, and not that I'm going to go into, not that I'm religious, I guess. But... Oh, let's quit there.
No, but it's an energy. I get what you're saying. It's an energy. It's an act, and it's like it's so true with knitwear, especially because I know, if you make something for anyone, especially if you make someone a card, etc. But like what you said, like takes so long. It takes such an amount of time that you really must love the person to spend that amount of time doing it. Yeah, I think what you were saying earlier is so true, because you're basically, you're not only telling your story, you're telling other women in your family like their stories, and it's coming through you. So it's also like generational stories. But then also what you said about you not feeling like you own it, they also own it. But I also think that you're the type of person that when you've made it, even though it's yours, it doesn't almost feel like yours anymore, because you want to share it. You're happy to let someone else have its journey after you as well. Not then just about you. It's past and also present and future.
Yeah, and it's like all of ours. Like it's like building a library of knowledge, or like continuing this conversation about this craft and what it can be and what it is today in modern times, and like how we can still pursue it as a wanted thing. Yeah, because there is like some kind of it feels like a little bit like there was set a roof of like the knowledge that knit could be within the public, because we learn it as well in elementary school. So it's like, well, if you know how to knit a sweater, you know how to knit socks and things, then that's it. Like, what else?
Would there be?
Why would you? What do you mean you're gonna knit for 3 years? What are you gonna knit? Like 100 pairs of socks? Like.
The next 3 years, Halla, that's all you're gonna do. Yeah. Just socks.
Just socks. I mean, somebody has probably just done that, and it's probably beautiful, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something, but I think for me, like, just coming from this kind of experience of knit has to be these certain things has made me really try to think about what knit is and what knit can be in the way of its possibilities and what it has to offer, opposite to like setting its limitation for it, or like putting it into an already existing form, but now try to like really let knit, like,
let it speak.
yes, let it grow, let it be, you know, not this down, like we shouldn't look down on it, or like it is the most powerful textile technique you can use.
Have you talking about that, actually, again leading on to the next question, have you seen a shift in the investment of crafted pieces? Because we're talking about this, like the sustainability aspect, this idea of, you were just saying with the fibres, and are you seeing that people in Iceland or in general are now reinvesting in craft?
It's so hard to say for me, I guess, because I was kind of working a lot by myself, and then I had a studio with people that weren't really doing craft, but other things, I guess. But I am obviously a member of craft and design in Iceland. So, I mean, there are people definitely that always value the craft and will definitely always buy from makers. But like whether it's increasing, I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to say, to be honest. And I think even like, you never know, because like people finding craft, I think is very personal to them as much as it is almost making the thing itself for the person, especially if it's like one of pieces, you know.
But I suppose it's a difficult one because you're in the right circles where people are investing in craft. That's
but
yeah.
I think it's also like for me, because I really price my things. I price them in regards to, like, I try like how I price my things. It's never the price that it actually costs to make the thing, right?
Yeah, of course.
Never.
No.
I think it really depends on your prices. Like, so I, manage to sell my pieces, but I have to be very patient for them to sell. Because they are expensive. It's an investment in the piece. And, people need to think about this, even like some people think about buying a sweater from me for like 6 months and it's like their gift to themselves, or like some people are still thinking and I'm just like waiting for, I don't know, like who knows? But
you could argue that it's a good thing actually, because I think people should be thinking more about what they want to invest their money in, because I think we're in a society, it's a difficult one because at the moment and probably since the 80s we've had all these new materials, these new cheap labour abroad, and clothing is a lot more affordable now. But I mean, hopefully with the rise of people buying secondhand and there not being so much of a stigma of that anymore, and then also people wanting, I feel like there's more of like a Marie Kondo, is it? That idea of being minimal and having things in, special things and amending, hopefully crafting. But like you said, I think we're all in the right circles where people will invest in that, in craft, because we understand ourselves how much time and effort it takes to create it. So you almost want to, when you've got some cash, you want to then buy from those people that have spent that amount of time on it.
Yeah, and it's also because then you also kind of feel that it's more personal.
Yeah.
Because you wanted it for a while and you're doing it for yourself, and that makes it like, something that is precious to you. And that's really beautiful, I think. But for me, I make, like, my earrings are a way for me to create something that is cheaper and is more affordable for a bigger group of clients. And I thankfully love making them. And this is like true for most makers. They have their like solid, easier thing to make that they can sell for less money. And that's how they sustain themselves,
And then they sustain those other big projects that they really want to be working on.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
It's so true, isn't it? So true.
And that's fair. Like, I don't think that shouldn't be a part of it. Because I feel like doing these smaller things is also something like so true to the making of things, which is about the practice, about technique, about this purity to like be making something as perfect as you can with your hands. And I think that's also really beautiful.
And you're making it in a simple form, as in you're still using the techniques that you love, you're still being true to your practice, but it's still something that someone can have off you that has your name on it, or or if they want to invest in you as a creative, they are. But it's like it's in its most simplest and form.
Yeah. And that, yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay, there's a quiet strength in your work. What stories or emotions do you hope people feel when they encounter it?
You said quiet stories.
Quiet
right?
strength.
Quiet strength.
Because I think your work to me is a real. We've talked about this before. Is such a juxtaposition for me. You've got such a softness and such a feminine energy, and then you have such a masculine and strong energy. And you've always joked about that in your name, that you have a very masculine first name and then this beautiful feminine second name. But together, it's so fitting for you, and I think your art really mirrors that. What kind of emotions do you think people would feel when they witness, or what would you like people to feel when they witness your work?
I think, like, I was thinking about this just a couple of weeks ago, and the word connection really stuck with me. And I think it is all about connection. It's both in the way of like how I am trying to connect with the world through my work, but I think like something shifted in my practice when I really tried to kind of emulate some kind of a peaceful experience, like, because there's nothing more beautiful, I think, than when you're completely calm in your mind and in yourself, and you're outside, and like it's wind or it's the ocean, and it's just like everything around you is just still rolling in a way in its own slow rhythm, and you can find this relaxation within yourself because you're just a part of the whole, which is just being here right now at this place, you know, without any expectations from it, is kind of where I try to emulate that within my work as much as I can, you know. And it's something about just like letting yourself be, you know, stop and experience the human experience. Right? Or I don't know, it's like
no, that's very true. The idea of nature is that it's so beautiful and can be so calm, and yet nature can be so brutal and destructive and terrifying. So like a wave can ruin a city, but it also is somewhere you paddle with your toddler, you know. It's like this, it's all about those oppositions and how they interact.
Yeah. Oh, when you even say this, I'm like, you know, because I have a dog, a Hector, and we are best buds. So I used to like go on walks every day. Like for almost 3 years, I was like walking my dog every day. He's our family dog. So
for everyone at home.
I did not leave him. He has a home. Anyways, I was taking a lot of care of him those 3 years when I was living in Iceland. And I think just experiencing the weather, because you have to go out every single day, pee and poop, morning, afternoon, in the evening, you know, 3-4 times a day. We're going outside. Yeah. No matter the weather, you know, either it's going to be that beautiful, peaceful thing that I told you, where I'm just like, oh, you know, looking at the ocean and he's pooping over there. And it's like, oh, it's beautiful, you know. And then there will be snowstorms and horrifying, like, just like you could be blown to the ocean.
Yeah.
Or you will go out and you have the northern lights. It's like this constantly changing expression of the world around you kind of makes you also need to change and grow, or like
accommodate, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like you were saying with going back home, you had all those, you had only a limited amount of stuff. Like there's only so much you can control, and that's the same with nature.
Yeah.
What has it meant to you to show your work at the Textile Museum, especially within a space so rooted within history and tradition? Because am I getting this right? Your exhibition it's a solo exhibition, but you've got the only kind of modern space, haven't you? Everything else is there permanently, and your space is the one that they change. So you're the only modern piece of textile work in the museum.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Insane. I mean, it's just a great honor, I think. It's such a beautiful, like, I was so surprised when I was asked to do this, because I am so young still, and usually it's not that I'm saying that it's for older people. No, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just almost in shock that they are trusting me with this project and to really fill up this space after just working at my practice for like 4 years now. So it's maybe different from what they've shown before, because people have had more kind of maybe or longer period of making, I guess. But I think it's just absolutely brilliant to get to do this. I'm so excited for it, and I'm so nervous. I just can't even almost breathe sometimes. Like, I will wake up in the morning and I'm just like, I cannot go to bed again, and it's like 5.
Yeah, we've had calls where you're like, no one's gonna show up.
Yeah.
But it's so true. But if you didn't care about it, then like, what's the point? So exactly. Of course you're gonna be nervous. It's huge. Who do you know that has a year-long exhibition?
I mean, it's just such an honor, I think, and I'm so excited for it. And I don't think I will believe it until we see it there and we're opening.
Okay, can you tell me what you want to bring to the exhibition space and what impact you hope to make?
So I'm very much kind of imagining it. I mean, now it's hard to know exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But for me, I want it to be a space that you're coming into, and it has stories, and you can feel kind of that it is someone, I guess, which is she, and who is she, and like, how do you fill up a space with different knitted textiles, and what can those textiles be, and the stories of how they're interacting with one another. And it's like, I think I have some female something in my head that I'm constantly kind of grasping at, which is not necessarily myself. So what I really want for my exhibition is to have a welcoming place for people to experience knitting in a different way than they have experienced it before. Because like, what I want to do with it is pushing its boundaries and pushing it to different expressions and dimensions in something that is not traditional form for us, even though I'm using a lot of traditional techniques.
Yeah. Is there a particular piece in the exhibition that feels especially personal to you, or holds a kind of story to it? A bit of a story?
There's one piece, actually, which maybe is fun to explain, because it's called meðvirkni, which is a word for, like, basically, like, the straight translation to English is codependent.
Nice.
And like, and I made it from an emotion where I was trying to understand what this feeling could look like. And then I knitted it, and I have some horsehair in it. And then somebody told me, like, because I turned it where the hair was going down, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, I actually like it better when it's upside down. And I was like, fuck. Like,
I'm going to have to turn it back around.
And now I have to do it because I have to be codependent on you. So it's like the piece is upside down for me, but right side for everyone else.
Oh gosh, that's so interesting, actually.
Yeah, because I was like, I have to be
codependent.
Like, yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a weird one, I guess. But apparently it looked a little scary, I was told, when it looked the right way. But also codependency is very scary.
It is very terrifying.
So I guess it was doing everything I wanted it to do.
It's giving the right energy.
Yeah.
And I came up with a bit of a fun one. Okay, scent, sound, or a season, what would that be? Because I know you're very about nature, and I just thought that's so you to think about it.
I mean, it's definitely winter.
Yeah.
You know, it is snowing. You know, and it's like, you know, I think my favorite moments since I was a kid, like when it was starting to get dark again, it was getting cold, and that first time you go outside after summer and everything is crispy and it's like
yeah.
You know, you step on the grass and it's like breaking, and it's like then you step more and more, you know. Nice. But it's like this tingling sound kind of this frozen moment type of thing. But I found the album that I think is my work, and it's called Mount Wittenberg Orca. Oh. The expanded edition. It's beautiful. I love listening to it. I think it's like the sound of what I'm trying to achieve, I guess.
I'll have to listen to that. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you curious about in your practice? Is there materials or ideas calling to you? I know you've added the new things into the exhibition because you've got all your stuff you've made before, and then obviously your horsehair stuff, but you have got these exciting new textile pieces too. Mm-hmm.
And I'm so pumped about that. It's just so fun to knit something in 3D. And then I am doing these salt solutions to aid with the stiffening of the samples. Mm-hmm. Right now, what I'm currently most excited about is not a little, but it's like these smaller pieces that make a bigger piece that I'm calling my garden or mon jardin. Because I don't know why, it just has to be French. It's something romantic about it, I guess. Because I don't want to say it in Icelandic. It's not romantic in Icelandic. Okay. And in English, it's kind of dull, I guess. My garden.
Oh, I like it. It's cute.
And these are like smaller pieces. This is very experimental, so hopefully it will be ready for the show. It should be. Yeah. But these pieces are like very much mixed with traditional techniques that are part of the pieces, whilst being kind of having new explorations of stitches surrounding them. And they're going to be like from quite simple to quite complex. And then these are going to be the experimental process for my salt solutions to figure out my library.
Yeah. Almost like a mood board of textures.
Yeah, because I'm really into I really want to do a lot of small things that kind of sing together in harmony.
How do you imagine your work evolving in the next few years?
I mean, I just see I feel like it is constantly growing, and I don't think there will be a stopping point where I'm just going to be focusing on
socks,
one thing. Yeah. Like if I stop and just do this, you know, I think I have no idea where it's growing, but it feels like it's growing into bigger spaces and places, and that it can hopefully, you know, be bigger, because I'm trying to make things big and they are getting bigger, but like how big can a knit be before it collapses on itself is also like a question. And that's where the salt comes in, and like I would like to devour a room or a space where I just kind of, I don't know. We'll see.
It sounds space.
Like it's just growing and getting different and changing, and yeah.
Hey, quick fire questions. Favorite scent?
Lavender.
Lavender.
Basilica.
Huh?
No, basilica.
Okay. Oh. Book?
Oh, shit. The first thing that comes in my head is the book that I actually read or was listening to last time. Should I check what it's called? It was a beautiful book. Wait, I don't remember names.
Oh no! Okay.
I don't remember
this
any
is a
names.
quick fire question.
It's called I Who Have Never Known Men.
Oh wow. Hardcore.
It was a beautiful book.
Amazing. Song? Maybe we just say the song that you said from Bill.
My favorite song right now is Butterfly with what's her name? With the opera singer.
Oh, okay.
Marina and the Diamonds.
Yes, yeah. She's fab.
Really
a drink,
fab.
tipple. What's your favourite drink? Tipple.
Tipple.
Yeah, that's what we say in England.
I mean, I love a good beer.
Yeah.
But I really like red wine. Like, I love to drink other drinks than beer, but beer is so convenient.
Yeah, you're a beer girl, but also I've had you're very good with wine.
Yeah.
You love a glass of wine. Okay, favourite flower?
There is one called Fjólu, Fjólu purple.
Very nice.
Fjólu. Oh, here it is. It's not just Fjólu, is it? Is it just violet?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably.
Sweet violet.
They smell great as well.
Yeah, and they're so cute and they're so tiny and they're
so
purple.
sweet.
I love them.
And then a piece of clothing or shoe or jewellery piece that makes you feel nostalgic. Like maybe it's from your childhood or something you own now.
I think definitely my leather jacket there.
Yeah, the jacket. That is a good one.
Yeah, the one that London.
Was it your mom's? It was your mom's, wasn't it?
It was actually my grandma's.
Your
And she
grandma's?
bought it in England in like 1950 something.
Whoa.
Yes, and then she brought it home, and then she felt that it was a little bit too much at the time to wear in Iceland. So she took it apart, was going to make a bag out of it, never made a bag. My mom found it, who's a tailor, decided to put it back together, then wore it. And then I found it in the basement, like 20 years later, after she had worn it, like during her junior high experiments. And then I wore it until it's almost falling apart now.
I just love it though. It's so good. Thank you for humouring me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for making me look like an idiot.
That's okay. What am I here for?
So the exhibition opens the 7th of June. It in Heimilisiðnaðarsafnið á Blönduósi, which is the textile museum. And there we're going to come together at 3:00, and it's going to be open until at least 5. And it's free entry from 3, but otherwise normal admission, I guess. And it's going to be so much fun. Love to see you there. Hope you can come. It's going to be great. Beautiful. Otherwise, we're open all summer. So if you're ever driving by, going up north, going down south, you can just stop and check it out on the way there. On your way. Have
Very
a little
cool.
trip pause.
And then it's open, isn't it, for the public to, if they want to book, they can come in after that. Because it's closed in the winter, right? But actually, you can book to go and see it if you want to.
Yes, I think they have group bookings at least.
Okay.
And then you can talk to them and come and see it during the winter if you're there then. Yes,
and thank you for chatting. That has been so fun.
Oh, it was so nice.